to look at the life of a late 15-year-old computer programmer as a model of holiness. He made these remarks from the Vatican as Carlo Acutis was being beatified in the town of Assisi in central Italy.
The intrigue surrounding Carlo Acutis, a young Italian who left the world in 2006, intensifies when one confronts the mystery of his undecayed body years after his passing.
Carlo Acutis, laico.
Labeled by many as an example of incorruptibility, his story poses riveting questions at the crossroads of science and spirituality. Can modern understanding offer a clear lens into this enigma, or is it a domain where faith has the final word? Join us on this exploration of the inexplicable as we attempt to unravel the intertwined threads of belief and empirical inquiry. The phenomenon of incorruptibility. Throughout history, the phenomenon of incorruptibility, where a deceased body does not decompose in the expected manner, has been a source of fascination, reverence, and speculation. Often deeply entwined with religious and cultural narratives, these bodies are seen by many as miraculous signs of holiness or divine intervention. One of the earliest accounts of incorrupt bodies dates back to the early Christian saints. For many devout followers, the inexplicable preservation of these saints' remains was a testament to their sanctity. Saints like Saint Bernadette, Soubirous of Lourdes, whose body remains remarkably preserved over a century after her death, are often showcased as evidence of divine favor. In the eyes of believers, the lack of decay is not just a curious scientific anomaly, but a reflection of the purity and holiness of the individual in life. In addition to Christian traditions, other religions and cultures have also reported instances of incorruptibility. For instance, within Buddhism, there are records of monks who, after death, do not undergo the usual processes of decay. Instead, their bodies are said to transform into relics, believed to be a manifestation of their spiritual attainments. Similarly, in some indigenous cultures, the undecayed remains of leaders or shamans are regarded with great reverence, seen as a sign of their powerful connection with the spiritual realm. The cultural significance of these incorrupt bodies is profound. In many traditions, they become sites of pilgrimage, drawing thousands, if not millions, of devotees seeking blessings, healing, or a tangible connection with the divine. The presence of an incorrupt body can transform a simple gravesite into a bustling shrine, as has been the case with the tomb of Saint Padre Pio in Italy or the tomb of Lama Itagilov in Russia. Scientifically, the phenomenon of incorruptibility remains a subject of investigation and debate. While some bodies are preserved due to specific environmental conditions, such as extreme cold, aridity, or the absence of oxygen, there are cases where the lack of decay defies straightforward scientific explanation. Some bodies remain flexible, with skin and facial features intact, despite being interred in conditions that should typically promote decomposition. However, while the religious see divine intervention at play, skeptics often search for natural explanations. The unique chemistry of the soil, the materials used in burial, the presence of specific bacteria, or even the individual's diet and lifestyle can all potentially play a role in the preservation of the body. There are also instances where the Church itself has taken steps to preserve the bodies of saints, using various methods which, over time, have been mistaken for miraculous incorruptibility. Yet the line between the miraculous and the explainable is not always clear. What may be a scientific enigma today could well have a logical explanation tomorrow. Still, for many, the phenomenon of incorruptibility surpasses the need for a logical explanation. It's less about the how and more about the why. For believers, the why often points to a higher power, a divine acknowledgement of a life well lived, or a signpost directing the faithful towards veneration and reflection. In examining the phenomenon of incorruptibility, one inevitably delves into the interplay between science and faith. While science seeks to understand and explain the world around us based on empirical evidence, faith often operates in the realm of the intangible, finding meaning in mysteries. Incorrupt bodies stand at this intersection, challenging our understanding of both the physical and the metaphysical. As we further explore the story of Carlo Acutis, the question remains: is his undecayed state a testament to his holiness, a mere coincidence of environmental factors, or perhaps a blend of both? Whatever the conclusion, the phenomenon of incorruptibility continues to captivate and inspire, serving as a powerful reminder of the enduring mysteries of life, death, and what lies beyond. The life and legacy of Carlo Acutis. Carlo Acutis, a name that resonates deeply within the realms of contemporary faith and devotion, led a life that, though brief, was marked by profound spiritual depth and an unwavering commitment to service. Born in London on May 3, 1991, Carlo and his family soon moved to Milan, Italy, where he spent the majority of his life. From a very young age, Carlo exhibited an innate sense of spirituality, often surprising those around him with his profound reflections on God and existence. Despite being born into a world rapidly transforming with the digital age, Carlo was able to harmoniously blend his faith with his interest in technology. An avid computer programmer, he used his skills to document and promote Eucharistic miracles worldwide, creating a website that served as a testament to these divine occurrences. Through this digital platform, Carlo aimed to rekindle faith in the Eucharist, a sacrament he held very dear. Beyond his technological pursuits, Carlo's daily life was a reflection of his faith. He was known to attend Mass daily, confess regularly, and always spared time for daily rosary. His commitment to the less fortunate was evident in his routine acts of charity. Despite being of a tender age, Carlo was regularly seen helping the needy, feeding the hungry, and spending time with the elderly, illuminating their lives with his compassion. Yet what's most striking about Carlo's life was his incredible foresight and wisdom regarding his own mortality. He often remarked, "I'm happy to die because I've lived my life without wasting a minute on things that wouldn't please God." This profound sense of purpose and the transient nature of life were eerily prescient, given the sudden turn his life took. In 2006, a devastating diagnosis of leukemia abruptly halted Carlo's earthly journey. Demonstrating immense resilience and faith, he offered up his sufferings for Pope Benedict XVI and the Catholic Church, embodying the spirit of self-sacrifice till his very last breath. On October 12, 2006, at the tender age of 15, Carlo Acutis passed away, leaving behind a legacy that would soon inspire millions. The impact of Carlo's life did not end with his death. His commitment to faith, especially his dedication to the Eucharist, started gaining widespread recognition. His website on Eucharistic miracles began drawing visitors from across the globe, and stories of his virtuous life started inspiring people of all ages. It wasn't just the fact that he was devout. It was his ability to integrate his faith seamlessly into the modern world, proving that sanctity is achievable even amidst today's distractions. Those who had the privilege of knowing Carlo personally often spoke of his infectious joy, his genuine love for all, and his unwavering faith. Teachers, friends, and acquaintances all had tales of his kindness, humility, and maturity. One often repeated story is of how he defended a disabled classmate, showcasing his inherent sense of justice and compassion. The Vatican, recognizing the profound impact of Carlo's life, embarked on the process of beatification. Miracles attributed to Carlo's intercession began emerging, the most notable being the healing of a Brazilian child suffering from a rare pancreatic disease. This miracle, rigorously vetted, paved the way for Carlo's beatification on October 10, 2020, making him one of the youngest blesseds in the history of the Catholic Church. the science of mummification and body preservation. The concept of bodies being naturally preserved, delaying or even preventing the usual process of decomposition, has fascinated humanity for centuries. Such phenomena, often revered in religious contexts as incorruptibility, do find roots in science, particularly in the process of mummification. Natural mummification is a captivating confluence of biology, environment, and, occasionally, a touch of chance. When we speak of mummification, we often imagine ancient Egyptians with their elaborate rituals and carefully bandaged mummies. However, natural mummification is different from the deliberate preservation techniques employed in burial practices. It is a spontaneous occurrence that can arise due to specific conditions. Decomposition begins soon after death as cells in the body break down, releasing enzymes and other substances. These enzymes create an ideal environment for bacteria and fungi, enabling them to thrive and break down the body further. However, these enzymes require a moist environment to function. If, for instance, the temperature is too high, the body may dehydrate before these enzymes can act, resulting in mummification. A case in point is Ötzi the Iceman, a 300-year-old mummy found in the Swiss Alps. The cold environment not only froze his body soon after death, preventing decomposition, but also kept him preserved for millennia. Yet, temperature and moisture aren't the sole arbiters of natural mummification. The composition of the body at the time of death can also significantly influence the process. A body with higher fat content is more prone to decomposition since fats break down into fatty acids and glycerol, providing a sumptuous feast for microorganisms. Conversely, individuals with lower body fat might have a higher likelihood of mummification under the right conditions. Interestingly, while many mummified children have been discovered, the process seems to be somewhat more challenging in their cases. Children's bodies generally have a higher water content, which can facilitate the decomposition process. While these are some primary factors, other elements can occasionally come into play. For instance, the ingestion of certain substances before death can influence post-mortem preservation. One such substance is arsenic, a highly toxic element. Up until the late 19th century, arsenic was commonly used for embalming because of its preservative qualities. Thus, if an individual consumed water containing traces of arsenic over a long period, it might, in theory, contribute to posthumous preservation. It's a grim irony. A poison in life could serve as a preserver in death. In the case of Carlo Acutis, speculation has arisen regarding the possible presence of arsenic in the water he might have consumed. However, it's crucial to approach such theories with caution, ensuring thorough scientific evaluation before drawing conclusions. The specific case of Carlo Acutis: facts and speculations. In the heart of Assisi, the world was reintroduced to Carlo Acutis, not as the tech-savvy teenager from Milan, but as a venerated figure on the path to sainthood. However, beyond the spiritual significance that surrounded his beatification was a phenomenon that evoked intrigue and wonder: the reported preservation of his body almost 14 years after his demise. Following his death in 2006, Carlo Acutis became an emblematic figure for many, particularly the youth. His passion for using technology as a means to evangelize and his profound faith made him a beacon of modern sanctity. But it was the 2020 exhumation of his remains, in preparation for his beatification, that added another layer to his already compelling narrative. When images of his preserved body were circulated, they ignited both awe and curiosity. The body, still clad in jeans and sneakers, was presented in a state that many described as incorrupt. The scientific community, aware of natural mummification processes, sought to understand the conditions around Carlo's burial. Was it the crypt's environment, known to be conducive to natural preservation, that played a role? Located beneath churches, crypts typically provide a cold, well-ventilated space shielded from water, conditions that deter decomposition. Given the number of naturally preserved bodies discovered in Italian crypts, This line of reasoning held weight. However, it wasn't just environmental factors that became a topic of discussion. Carlo's body composition, particularly the water and fat content, would have influenced the decomposition rate. While these intrinsic factors weren't publicly detailed, they became essential pieces in the puzzle of preservation. One of the more controversial speculations around Carlo's preserved state involved arsenic, a substance known for its toxic properties, but also its historical role in preservation. Some hypothesize that Carlo may have consumed water with trace amounts of arsenic, leading to a form of internal embalming. While this theory resonated with some, given that arsenic was used for embalming until the late 19th century, it remained in the realm of speculation without conclusive evidence. Amidst the swirling speculations and debates, a fact remained. Carlo's impact was felt deeply, both spiritually and scientifically. For the faithful, his preserved state was a testament to his sanctity and divine favor. For the curious, it was a fascinating case study in the science of decomposition and preservation. While the Vatican recognized a miracle attributed to Carlo, a Brazilian child reportedly cured of a rare disease after prayers to Carlo, his preserved state was not officially declared a miracle. Yet for many, it was no less wondrous. The role of Italian traditions and laws. Italy, a nation rich in history and culture, often finds itself at the crossroads of tradition and modernity. This juxtaposition is particularly evident when considering the treatment and veneration of the deceased, especially those perceived as being miraculously preserved. The tale of Carlo Acutis and the reaction to his exhumed body sheds light on Italy's intricate dance between its age-old traditions and its contemporary legal structures. Historically, Italy, with its deep Catholic roots, has been a land where saints, relics, and the miraculously preserved bodies of religious figures have played a significant role in societal and religious narratives. From Saint Clare of Assisi to Saint Rita of Cassia, countless incorruptible bodies have been venerated in ornate shrines and churches, providing a tangible connection to the divine for believers. Such figures are seen as intermediaries, their preserved state a testament to their sanctity. But this reverence for the incorrupt also exists alongside a robust and detailed legal structure. Italy's laws regarding the treatment of deceased individuals are comprehensive. When a body is exhumed, as is periodically required to manage limited burial space, and it's found to be non-mineralized or undecomposed, the legal mandate is quite clear. The body must be treated with specific chemical substances to ensure that only the skeletal remains persist. This practice is in stark contrast to the veneration of saints, where the preservation of the body is celebrated. This duality of reverence and regulation reveals itself in other aspects of Italian culture as well. For instance, while mummified remains in crypts beneath churches are not uncommon, they are often maintained with care, balancing respect for the deceased with health and safety regulations. Crypts are cool, well-ventilated, and typically protected from external water sources, making them conducive environments for natural mummification. Yet, they are also places of reverence and pilgrimage, where the spiritual significance of the preserved remains is acknowledged and celebrated. The case of Carlo Acutis exemplifies the Italian ethos of balancing tradition with pragmatism. On one hand, his preserved state was a source of wonder for many, drawing parallels with the incorrupt saints of old. On the other hand, the realities of Italian laws concerning body preservation and exhumation couldn't be ignored. Yet in this instance, the spiritual significance overshadowed the legal directives, reflecting the deep-rooted traditions and beliefs of the Italian populace. The link between water and preservation. Water, the essence of life, paradoxically has also been associated with the preservation of the dead. In the narrative surrounding Carlo Acutis, an intriguing claim emerged. Could the ingestion of water with arsenic have contributed to the remarkable preservation of his body? To explore this connection, one must journey into the historical interplay between arsenic and embalming, and its potential role in preserving the deceased. Arsenic, a naturally occurring element, has a long and storied relationship with mankind. In its various forms, arsenic has been used for diverse purposes, from being an ingredient in pigments and cosmetics to its infamous role as a poison. However, its link with body preservation is perhaps less well known, but equally fascinating. In the centuries before modern embalming practices took hold, arsenic was recognized for its preservative properties. As far back as the 19th century, arsenic was employed in the embalming process. Embalmers favored it because it not only preserved the deceased, but also acted as a deterrent to grave robbers due to its toxic nature. Bodies treated with arsenic were less prone to decay, and this method allowed for extended viewing periods, particularly important in an era when loved ones might have to travel long distances to pay their last respects. Turning to the specific claim regarding Carlo Acutis, the idea posits that the ingestion of water naturally contaminated with arsenic might have had a preservative effect on his body. Such a hypothesis is rooted in the known embalming history of arsenic. If Carlo's regular water source contained arsenic, even in minute quantities over time, it might have accumulated in his body, potentially offering some level of preservation after death. It's worth noting, however, that chronic exposure to arsenic-contaminated water is harmful. Prolonged ingestion can lead to a range of health issues, from skin problems to more severe conditions like cancers. The very element that might aid in preservation post-mortem can have detrimental effects on the living. While the idea is intriguing, it's also crucial to approach it with caution. Speculating about arsenic's role in preserving Carlo's body requires rigorous scientific examination. Factors such as the arsenic concentration in his water source, the duration of exposure, and its accumulation in his body tissues would all need to be considered. Without empirical evidence, this remains an interesting but unverified theory. Furthermore, the concept of arsenic's preservative properties via ingestion is still debated. While its external application in embalming has historical precedence, the internal accumulation and its post-mortem effects aren't as well documented. This distinction is crucial in understanding and interpreting the claim in the context of Carlo Acutis. Carlo's path to beatification. Beatification in the Catholic Church is a significant step on the pathway to sainthood. It's an acknowledgement from the Church that the individual lived a life of heroic virtue and is worthy of public veneration. But for one to be beatified, it's not enough to have lived a good life. A verified miracle attributed to the intercession of the person is typically required. For Carlo Acutis, a young Italian who passed away in 2006, the journey to beatification was both profound and spiritually significant. Carlo, in his short life, managed to touch many lives. His profound faith, genuine love for the Eucharist, and modern ways of evangelizing through the internet set him apart. He used his technological skills to catalog Eucharistic miracles from around the world, drawing many closer to the faith. Despite his youth, Carlo's maturity in spiritual matters left an indelible mark on those who knew him. Following his untimely death, tales of Carlo's piety and the impact he left began to circulate, drawing attention to the potential for his cause for sainthood. In the Catholic Church, the process of canonization is thorough and meticulous. It starts with the individual being declared a servant of God, followed by the title of venerable, which is conferred upon affirmation of the person's heroic virtues. To validate this miracle, the Vatican engages in a rigorous process of verification. Medical experts are consulted to rule out any scientific explanation for the healing. Theologians then examine the miracle to ensure it was achieved through the intercession of the individual in question. Only after this thorough examination, if the miracle is confirmed as genuine, does the Pope give the green light for beatification. For Carlo Acutis, this process culminated in October 2020, when he was beatified in a ceremony in Assisi. Thousands gathered and many more tuned in from around the world to witness this momentous occasion. But why does beatification hold such significance in the Catholic Church? To the faithful, saints and blesseds are more than historical figures. They are spiritual companions, intercessors, and role models. Their lives offer a blueprint on how to live out the gospel message in today's world. By beatifying Carlo, the Church not only acknowledged his holiness but also presented him as a modern example, especially for the youth, of how one can lead a Christ-centered life in the digital age. Moreover, beatification also carries a universal call, reminding all the faithful of their potential for sainthood. Saints and blesseds are not reserved for a bygone era. They can emerge from any time and circumstance, even from a world immersed in technology, as Carlo's life so beautifully demonstrated. The intersection of science and faith. Carlo Acutis' preservation and the surrounding phenomena bring to the fore a long-standing conversation, the intersection of science and faith. Throughout history, the relationship between these two realms has seen both harmonious collaborations and fervent clashes. Incidents like that of Carlo's preserved body stir emotions and perspectives on both sides, revealing the intricate tapestry of human understanding and belief. Science, as a discipline, is grounded in empirical evidence, experimentation, and replicability. It seeks to uncover and explain the mysteries of the universe using observable, testable, and falsifiable means. For many, the appeal of science lies in its ability to offer explanations for phenomena that were once attributed solely to the divine or supernatural. As we've seen with the understanding of diseases, celestial bodies, and even genetic codes, science continually expands our knowledge, replacing myths with measurable data. On the other hand, faith, in its essence, transcends the empirical. It delves into realms that aren't always measurable or observable, dealing with beliefs, spiritual experiences, and metaphysical realities. For believers, faith offers a deeper understanding of existence, purpose, and the nature of the divine. It provides answers to profound questions about suffering, love, and the afterlife, areas where science might not always tread. Carlo Acutis' preserved body stands at this crossroad. For many of the faithful, the incorruptibility is a sign of his sanctity, a testament to his life of virtue, and possibly even a miracle. It aligns with stories of other saints whose bodies have resisted decay, seemingly defying natural processes. To them, it's an affirmation of the divine's presence and work in the world, a tangible sign of heavenly favor. Yet, skeptics and some scientists might view this through a different lens. The science of decomposition, influenced by various factors like environment, microbial activity, and body composition, offers explanations for why certain bodies resist decay longer than others. Mummification, as seen in various cultures and under specific conditions, can preserve a body for millennia. Even the water containing arsenic, as speculated in Carlo's case, can act as a natural embalming agent. Instances like Carlo's challenge both believers and skeptics to reflect deeper. For believers, while the incorruptibility might reaffirm their faith, it also invites them to understand the scientific explanations, ensuring their beliefs aren't rooted in mere superstition or misinformation. Embracing scientific explanations doesn't diminish the profundity of their faith, but can instead enhance their appreciation of the intricate wonders of God's creation. For skeptics, while science provides a logical explanation, it also poses an invitation to be open to the intangible, the unmeasurable, and the profound spiritual experiences of others. It's a reminder that not everything can be neatly categorized or understood, and sometimes mysteries remain just that, mysteries.